So it is September 19th, 2021. Linda suggested that we go to the Grand Lux Cafe over in, I'd say Garden City area, but she says it's really Westbury. And it's by the Roosevelt Field Mall. It was Ben's birthday, so I have a special shirt on. Whatever. Woohoo. But now the interesting thing is that I'm reading the front of the menu, and the front of the menu says that the decor and the motif of the inside is based off of Italian and French, like French bistros and Italian something else, and Vienna. And I'm looking around, and where we sat at the booth with the window to the left, there is a gigantic mural up top of what looks like a spoof of taking a angelic choir from Italy or one of the Baroque European serious nations, and they painted the most serious decor and the most serious family assets in a North African motif. And that's what's painted on the wall. It's also in their new disrespectful color assortment while they're in the stage of New York. I'm still in a place that waves this flag and a place that has this. I'm in Queens County, but the restaurant is located in Nassau County, over by Mineola court system. And they inside had a lot of symbology as well, but it was so stacked, sloppy, and so much visual stimulus. It was hard to like. The menu was easy because I'm like, there's not a single French or Italian or Venetian anything in here other than what I brought to the table. I brought Alexander, I brought myself, I brought Nucci, Anthony Tifrio 2012, my Mayan calendar baby. Lewis and Linda were there, and Benjamin, it was his birthday. Daniel's up at college. So we were the only Venetian things in the restaurant. But there were diamond patterns set behind glass. There was a angelic inspired figure, looked kind of like my profile, holding some kind of blown glass. Those pieces of outside sculpture, perhaps, but the actual motif of inside the restaurant, absolutely not. On the floor, it was not black and white checkered marble. Instead, it was like a toffee or a caramel and a nougat color checkered board pattern. And I saw a gentleman walk through the lobby with a Gucci, Gucci, same toffee nougat color floor, the checkered board floor. That was the color tan on it, or khaki on his hat, with one stripe of green, and then one stripe of red in the center for a Gucci something or other. But the man had traditional North African color skin, which I'm not. And so I don't know what... I'm Lex. I went in with Lex. Lux is something different, but respected, or at least it should be. And then as I sat on the bench while we were waiting, I was not watching the staff, although I did catch that the majority of the staff was not my family lineage of North American. They were traditionally not even close to being related to me. They looked more of like what they show on the Olympic running athletes on TV. But behind where the hostess and I don't even know what they call it. I did waitressing, but at in Plainview, actually, at what's called the Imperial Manor, but it was it was a dive. It was not a ritzy, classy restaurant. I did that while I was in college. But anyway, so as I looked past the hostess station, there are triangles in this weird assortment, but they dangle down, and then and there's a whole like wall of that particular triangle shape with a center ball, and it caught my eye because they're strung, but they're not congruently spaced whatsoever. It's an off pattern. It's the entire lobby read left me with a negative intuition. On the sky, where normally you would call it like a fresco painting, somebody took some kind of like sponge paint is what they do these days, and then they hand painted some kind of flower pattern, which was interesting, but it's not Italian. I mean, like, I don't know, like, are these local art students never heard about white history, never heard about Vienna Italian, or just read the words, and then had to, like, come up with some version, but they're all, like, centered in, like, orange, gold, and high reds, so they have more of a palette of, I don't know, not Italian, and then that was their attempt, because I don't want to hurt feelings, but it was definitely whatever the menu said, it was not. I've been to Italy. My father's Northern Italian, and my grandfather is not up for discussion where he was from in respectable places in Europe, but I can tell you that the Grand Lux Cafe is in a fallacy and falsely identifying itself as something that it definitely is not. It has the colors of it, the color palette. I know that this actually brings up in Russia, in I think it's Moscow by the Red Square in Moscow. It brings up a tremendous, like, historical acuity reference of huge fights, like nuclear war, bombshell fights of a people, but these people running the restaurant, or at least hired for the restaurant, are of a much darker pallor than the whatever the historical reference and context is in Moscow. But I will also say that the fresco that they did paint, it's where we have in Baroque the angel choir with the white European and the big angel wings, and it's more of like a light pale blue and teal and cream color, like congressional mass of of angels of our echelon or our ancestry or in antiquity. The ones in that were painted in Moscow that I've seen referenced, and those are the sounds that the humans make in this 19th century and 20th century. They have more of a more muted green, like darker hunter green. Same with the reds, are more muted with like a goldy coppery. I've seen, although the skin pallor varies. The restaurant I was in tonight had a fresco that was in the Moscow color closet of attire and adornment, but it was the feel of a North African entity or fleshy body inside of that color field, just in the restaurant. And that's just outside of a mall, Mall, which is called Roosevelt Field Mall. That's where I filmed from inside the mall, saying, is this where all my national mall security money went? Was to build this disgusting Roosevelt Field Mall of Simon Properties and tax shelter all of the children that are not related to me while I'm left out in the cold, like with no education, no travel, no opportunity, no way to raise my kids, and being harmed by thermodynamic weaponry as others are advancing and gaining in dangerous new equipment, sales and occupancy and all sorts of things, starting all new problems. It's star 1978, star 8378. It's Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. It's September 19th, 2021. And I'm back inside Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. But I was where I have taken pictures. I took a picture of the menu, and I took a picture from my seat looking up at the fresco. I did not point the camera down and take pictures of the patrons, and I did not do any of the lower part of the restaurant because I did not want to get in trouble with taking pictures of random strangers. But I did point the camera up and to get the fresco, so this way it can be seen. It is not a fresco, and it also does not look like a fresco in Moscow, by the way. It is very really a fresco that was an interpretation by a public that has never been to Moscow and has not been to Italy or Vienna or one of those either. So that's that.